Today we're going to be doing another tier list, but we're going to only be doing operators based on how strong they are in the solo queue environment. So we're basing all these operators in a solo queue setting. First, we're going to do defenders, starting with Fenrir for Operation Red Factor, and then we're going to go over to the attackers. Let's get to it. So for the defenders, first defender, we're going to do Grim, who is going to function as Fenrir. So how strong is Fenrir in a solo queue environment? Based on his gun, his utility, everything about Fenrir that I know and have used him as, I would say that Fenrir is going to be more around a... I'm going to say that he's going to be S tier in terms of a solo queue environment. Very easy utility, good gun, and you can just run around and, you know, play off your utility. You don't need to like keep reset. You can reset it multiple times because, you know, you get 5 of those charges. But I think overall, like, it's going to be fairly rewarding as a solo queue player because you can set up the site with your shotgun, your secondary shotgun, and you can leave traps that were going to mess with attackers to slow them down so your site doesn't get rushed. So I think very easy to use defender. We're gonna go a little bit fast for everybody else though, just heads up. I think Smoke is still in a solo queue environment. I'm gonna put Smoke at B tier, while as Mute's gonna be a little bit higher, but Smoke's gonna be B tier because in a solo queue environment, Smoke can get a little annoying. You end up getting flanked. Yeah, you can hold down your door, but sometimes you will get flanked, and it is a little annoying when that kind of happens. So in a solo queue environment, a little bit annoying. Mute, a little bit easier to do because you're not really expected to hold down a very specific spot. But any of the jammers are going to work very easily. So, boom. Pulse, I'm going to place it A tier. When you play Pulse, I mean, you get a lot of intel. You usually know what's going on. It's a lot more fun to play while solo. And you're going to have Castle, D tier. Castle in the solo queue environment is going to be extremely, extremely annoying. You're getting into everybody's way if you don't know what you're doing, or you're forcing people to play around your castle strat. I think that castles should be avoided most of the time in the solo queue environment. So, that is why he's there. Doc, S tier. Very easy to use operator. Can't really go wrong, and you get heals. You just gotta shoot your gun straight. Rook, better than nothing. I'm gonna put him in C. Better than nothing. You give everybody armor, and you run around with a 1.5 scope. Can't really go wrong with that. Capkin, S tier. If the enemy team's solo queue too, I mean, hey, you might get some free kills. Those traps are gonna work fairly nicely. Bandits, gonna be at D tier with the castle. Again, another operator that requires a little bit of team coordination. You're gonna trick a wall. It's gonna be a little bit hard to do, but you do have an MP7, a good solid gun. So I'm gonna raise him from above castle just to a C, because I mean, his weaponry is fairly solid, and he is a nitro, so. Without Tachanka, this is going to be at the C tier only because he has an amazing gun. Amazing gun, and I could see more use out of that than a solo queue castle. Grim S tier, defending solo queue tier list, and this is functioning as Fenrir. Frost, you can't go wrong with Frost. You set up the site, you have a good gun, and with 1.5 scope, boom. Jaeger, right next to the Smoke. Again, kind of the same situation as Smoke. Gun is a little oofy sometimes, and your gadgets are nice, but that's only if your teammates are playing around the gadgets, which you can't really expect them to when you're in a solo queue environment. Valkyrie, D tier. Cameras are nice, but if no one's watching them, how nice can they really be? Good gun, good nitros, and cameras are useful, but a lot of times people aren't going to be watching them. You can't really expect them to in a solo queue environment. Yeah, this is just a solo queue tier list. Caveira is at the D tier. Can get a lot done. Actually, I'll place Caveira up a little bit. I know that's a little weird, but Cav can do some work in a solo queue environment. I can't even do that. She has to go down. I was trying to think of rationale why she should be around here, but I just can't do it. Cav's fun to play. Probably the most fun operator in the game to play, but overall, that doesn't really bring much. When you think solo queue, I think you need a good gun where you have to kind of show up, and then bringing a little bit of utility on top is definitely going to pay off. But more than anything, you really do need to be able to shoot and defend yourself and hold down either a site or a retake. Gav can't do much of that. Echo. I think Echo is as an amazing operator in the solo queue environment. I'm lowering the pulse just a little bit because I can't put him up there. Echo is an amazing operator in the solo queue environment. His cams are nice, easy to use, and you have good weaponry. Mira, very annoying operator to use in the solo queue environment. If you get flanked on your mirror, trust me, you don't run Mira next round. Very annoying. Can be very strong, can be very good, but is just a little bit more annoying in a solo environment. Ella, traps are always nice. Again, traps are always nice. Legion, you can do basically whatever you want in a solo environment. You can run around, you can anchor, you can hard roam. And the traps, you're always gonna know where the enemy's coming from, so you're always gonna have the intel based off your traps. So Vigil is gonna be here. Just kind of Alibi, a little bit higher. Maestro is going to be down at the D tier. Especially the solo queue environment is just not going to be great. Clash could not place her lower. Fortunately, E tier. I feel like E tier is reserved for Clash. Cade, utility is amazing, but how amazing? Honestly, really easy to use utility. Doesn't really take a rocket scientist to really know how to use this. You place his claws down, and half the time you don't have to worry about it again. If the other team solo queue hell, they might not be able to open anything. So his gun's a little bit weaker, but if you know how to use them correctly, you can do all right. And plus, you're bringing a lot of utility for the team. Mozzie in a solo environment is I'm going to place at B tier because most of the time you're going to be running around going crazy. But if they just take the site and flood, then you're left off and you're having to retake. So in a solo environment, kind of annoying. But I'm going to place him a little bit higher because if you know what you're doing, it can be fine. Warden, I am placed in the same category. I love my Warden, but again, in a solo environment, it's going to be it's kind of the same story, just different way to approach it. Goyo going to be I'm going to place Goyo at the I'm going to place him in the A tier. I like his fires, but really they don't really function the way that they should most of the time. I feel like Goyo's fires are better in a competitive situation, not just a solo rank star situation. My S tier, don't need to think about that. His discs are pretty intuitive and very easy to use, and you have a good way of defending yourself. You have the Oryx. Oryx is fun, but again, if they just flood the site, you're having to retake. Melusi, S tier, S tier, S tier. You place the Banshees and the site's good to go. You can do whatever you want afterwards. You're good to go. So, Rudy, A tier. You bring a little bit of side setup and you get a fun gun to play around with. Thunderbird, I'm going to place at the B tier. If you can handle this gun, I mean, if her gun was better, I'd place her higher, but her gun's kind of mid, so she's going to be at B tier because you're not going to have a ton of fun as Thunderbird unless you're a console player. Because console, she doesn't have as bad recoil, but on PC, her recoil is horrific. So I will say that because I know people are going to fight me over this in the comments. She is horrible on PC, but I know that she's pretty good on console. So on console, maybe that she could be A tier or up with Doc, but on PC, she's very, very bad, more in this range, so I'm placing her there. Thorn in a solo environment is going to be still kind of mid. I mean, her traps are and not really to stop anything. Your gun's pretty fun to use, though. Azami in a solo environment still excels. Azami excels in every single capacity, in every single which way. She's always just going to be strong. So, and Solis. Gonna be A tier, still able to make the same aggressive plays and runouts, but you're really counted on the fact that they can't just swarm the site. You're really, really hoping, which makes her a little bit weaker there. All right, and that's going to be it for the defenders. These are the defenders. This is Fenrir again, I'm going to say. So Fenrir, I do think is going to be an S tier because His traps are kind of leave and forget, and you get a fun gun to play around with. You can set up the site. You can do a lot as Fenrir. So, boom. These are the defenders. And now let's do the attackers. In a solo environment, attacking, we are going to do Sledge. Very easy op to use in a solo environment. Grenades. Just kidding. You thought I was going to do that. I'm not. In fact, I'm probably going to do this. But let's talk about these. Good guns. Very easy to entry. You have grenades. It's easier to entry as knock. But her gun is a little bit worse, but her entry ability is a little bit better. And overall going to be very functional in any scenario that you find yourselves in. Grenades are very, very strong in Siege. That's why there's only a couple operators that have them. Listed here. Out of all these operators down here, only these operators have them. So that should tell you something. Thatcher in a solo environment is going to be very, very mid. You're going to really hope that, first of all, that your teammates are going to bring a hard breach. Let alone, are they going to go for the wall? And are they smart enough to help you get through the wall? So I think Thatch in a solo environment, you're going to find yourself in a situation where the wall is still not opened, or you're going to run into there's a shield there that you have nothing to do to clear. So the way that I think of solo, I think you either your wall ability or your way to enter a room or a window or a door, or if you're facing a shield's looking directly at you, how can you handle that? Thatcher's ability to do all that is going to be a little bit lower on the totem pole. Let's talk Zero. Zero, I'm placing S tier. I guess it's going to be on the fence of the Zero, but Zero has the ability to basically deal with whatever he needs to on his own. Zero doesn't need a teammate. You have cameras that can shoot lasers if you need to be tricky, get things off the wall, or you can just use them to burn something. It's run into a deployable shield. You have a Gon 6, you have a hard breach charges, and you have a solid gun that's fun to play around with. So Zero is a Swiss Army knife of solo, which this is going to be a tried and true staple of the solo queue player, more than likely. Capital, kind of the same story. As the Zero, just a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna say Capital's a little bit weaker than the Zero, but I think his cameras give a lot more use. Fire the smokes are nice, but I think Zero can do a little bit better job overall. But still is actually I like the idea of the Capital solo queue. Like, you just have a lot of things going on that are good things. So Ash is going to be A tier, not quite S tier, but still, if you run into anything, you're able to open whatever you need to on the fly and go have a good time. Thermites not fun to play solo, because if you can't get the wall open, it is very, very, very annoying, and you're left with a mid gun with flashbangs or smokes. So, Thermite solo is not super fun. People are going to see this and be like, what the hell are we looking at? But it's how effective are you in a solo queue environment when you can only count on yourself? Because I know a lot of people ask these questions. This is why we make these lists. When you can only count on yourself, how fun, effective, and how much will you win by playing these operators in a solo environment where you can really only count on yourself? I know it's a team-based game, but then this list isn't quite for that. But I know these questions are asked, which is why this list exists. Which is going to be at the C tier. You are able to destroy quite a bit of utility, and you are going to have fun guns to play around with, but your ability to really push in is going to be a little lower. New op is pretty good. I would say overall, the new op is going to be an A tier operator. All right, Fuse, I'm going to be placing at the D tier as well, because, again, you have basically a singular playstyle where you have to crouch walk through a door. Like, you go vert and you fuse them, and a lot of times that won't do anything, or you'll struggle getting that off. Well, Ashe is an S tier because when I compare Ashe versus Iana, it is very obvious which one's better. That's why she's a little bit lower. I would say that she is a very strong solo operator, but I think comparatively, one of them is definitely a little bit higher. If you're picking Ashe, you're picking her to basically be a pseudo Ayana because someone already chose her. You know, so she's just secondary. That's why she's second fiddle to Ayana. That's why she's A tier, but she's totally good. Blitz in a solo environment, I'm going to place at C tier. Can be pretty strong, can be pretty good, but sometimes is a little bit left for wear. Montaigne, again, is going to be there. Like, shields are okay. Like, C is, they're okay. D tiers can be good or can be kind of annoying. E tiers, you probably shouldn't. IQ, being able to find the traps for yourself as you push in as an entry is always not a bad thing. Buck, don't need to think about that one. Swiss Army Knife, Gone 6, Hard Breach Charge, good gun, and a shotgun to make soft destruction. Really good in the solo environment. Really good as a solo player. Blackbeard, E tier. Ibana. The Hard Breach that is good in the solo environment, I would say. I would say that, actually, I would say that she's more... I would say Hibana and Ace are the solo tier, are the solo heart breachers. You know, you have a good gun, you have speed, you have flashbangs, you can defend yourself. Ace, a really good gun, and breaches are really easy to use. Thermite takes a little bit of technical know-how and what are you doing, and you can only get some of the outside walls. You're not really going to be able to get an inside wall as Thermites. So I would say that these are the hard breaches that people are going to flock to in the solo. Ying. Yeah, I'll place Ying at A. Ying has really good engage abilities, but if she runs into a shield, I mean, you gotta really hope you can flash that shield or you can't really do much to it. This is a solo queue tier list. When you can't count on your teammates, it is just you against the world. This is the tier list. SR25 is okay? No, it is not okay. It is horrible, especially with the shield on it. It bumps like a Bronco. Sophia, B tier. Brings a lot, actually, to deal with whatever you need to, but that speed is going to be a little troublesome, but can be very strong. Can be very strong. But as an entry, she definitely falls a little bit weaker than the S and A tier operators. Jackal in the solo environment is going to be really easy to coordinate off of this. Like, your teammates are going to be able to coordinate off this very easily. You see someone's feet, you know the enemy's there. It's very easy to coordinate off this. You have the Doke again, but I feel like Jackal's a little bit easier to coordinate off of. Doke is a little bit harder to coordinate off of, and you are going to have a DMR, which is going to be a little bit more frustrating, so going to be a little bit lower. Lion in a solo environment is just, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it can be strong. And you have EMP impacts to function with the Thermite to kind of help that little guy out. But overall, going to be a little bit less for wear on this. I think E tier or D tier, you are going to get use out of your ability, but your guns are going to be very annoying. You're probably not going to frag outs. So, Maverick, E tier, don't play Maverick in the solo queue. Do not do it. Do not do it. Do not do it. You are going to be annoyed. It is going to be annoying, and it's going to suck. Don't do it. Then we got Nomad in a solo environment. Honestly, I love my Nomad in a solo environment, but she's not S tier because at one point you're going to run into a brick wall, and Nomad on her own is going to struggle on how to deal with it. So I think A tier sits well for her. Gridlock. I'm placing Gridlock at the D tier because Nomad exists. Gridlock's just an inferior variation and is slow. I think Nomad just overall functions better. Amaru in that C tier range of it could be good, it could be bad. It really depends on the person that is playing this. Yeah, I mean, that's why she's B tier. She can be good, but she's not bad. Like, B tier and up is like, in a solo environment, I'm playing S, A, and B. I try to stay away from the C, D, and E personally. Is how I think of it. I think Dope can be good in a solo because you can coordinate, but I feel like Jackal is easier to coordinate with your teammates in a solo environment, and you have a better gun. Like PDW versus DMR, PDW is a better gun. It's just facts. Well, Thatcher's at D tier because he has EMP grenades, but if you run into his shield, you're going to struggle. Like a deployable shield, you're going to struggle. You can't get the wall open by yourself. You're counting on a lot of teamwork that may or may not be there. This is a solo queue tier list. Callie, don't run Callie in solo queue. You're just don't do that. Just stop. Could be a little bit higher, but I'm gonna place her there. I feel like she belongs there right now. Flores is going to be a little bit mid in the solo environment because the biggest problem I have with Flores, yeah, he does a lot. He does honestly incredible, but you're on your cameras for quite some time. You have to make sure that you're matching the pace of your teammates because a lot of times if you spend too long on cameras, you're gonna find yourself in like a 2v5 or a 3v5 or something, and you were spent destroying utility that your teammates aren't even going to take advantage of. So gotta be smart. So still good though. That's why, you know, B tier. Because it can be good. I just think it tends to be a little bit weaker. Grim, new upgraded Grim. Beefed up boy Grim is going to be higher. Hard breach charge. His gadget actually has some use. I'm going to place him at B tier. B tier for the B boy. Hard breach charge. A lot of speed. Commando. Fun to play. You're going to get a decent amount of miles as Grim, but there are sometimes where you need to stop destruction or hard, you know. He's not going to be able to do everything on his own, and Grim is a kind of a slept on operator now because Grim has been here for so long. With the buffs he's getting, he's going to be here. So that's a little. I think he's going to be here. Is the best I got for you. Brava gonna be here. Her cam ability, her cameras are nice, but again, you have to be wary that you're not on cameras too long, like Flores or Twitch. And her guns are nice, and she has a super shorty. Fun to play, but you just have to be very mindful that the enemy has utility that you actually do want to get. I would probably try to stay away from playing any operators C, D, and E in the solo queue land unless you have very specific, you know, hey, we have a thermite, so I'll bring Thatcher. And then they both instantly go up. But if one op requires another operator, they're going to be a little bit lower. Osa, I'm going to place at the C tier because, again, you have to really watch your team and make sure you're matching their pace because a lot of times you're going to find yourself sitting on your hands behind your shield waiting for things to happen, and things aren't going to happen as fast as you would like them to, and it might make you lose the game. So, C tier. Still strong, though. I mean, can be good. I think that is it for the attackers. Yeah, that's it. This is my attacking solo queue tier list. You guys saw the defending solo queue tier list. If you guys have any complaints or anyone you want to make an argument over, like, hey, this person should be here because in solo queue this normally happens, let me know down below in the comments. Make sure to subscribe and drop a comment down below for more. I plan on doing a lot of content for the new season and just content in general. I mean, we do daily content, so make sure to subscribe. Till next time, guys. Oh, I forgot Sens. I didn't forget much. Until next time. Peace out.